Hey, what hell? Welcome to Monday. Welcome to Countdown Day. And today is going to continue to sort of follow up the last couple of weeks. In the last couple of weeks, we looked at overpriced Transformers at MSRP, and then we looked at overpriced Transformers on the aftermarket. And some very dubious pricing strategies that some people use. Whether you want to call it, scammer pricing, scalper pricing, conman pricing, whatever sort of disgusting term you want to use for overpricing products, use it. By the way, let's be clear, when people try and compare these things to like first edition novels and high art and that sort of stuff, it's not the same thing. It's a silly comparison. Some people asked, what about auctions and stuff? That's different. If you start at a sensible price, that's different, man. And finally, what about like vintage G1 stuff? I think once something passes the generally recognized mark of classic, about 25 years, well then maybe you can look at, is there added value here? But generally speaking, toys, like cars, again, generally speaking, depreciate. Even though we all know, like, there are classic cars and people can upkeep them and stuff like that. So, of course, there's always certain caveats. But, like, let's be realistic. Earthrise Thrust, as rare as he is, and as much as I hope he gets a reissue, come on. Let's be realistic. That's a Voyager. It's not worth $300, for example. I digress, because now we kind of flip the script this time to something way more positive. And these are the top 10 Transformers as voted on by fans that are absolutely worth every single penny of their manufacturer's suggested retail price. In other words, the price you pay at retail, these guys fill the bill. They got the mass, they got the paint, they got the parts count, they got the articulation, they got the whole thing. That's going to be our focus in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey, one hail, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe. And while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell. Helps me out a ton, lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. So like I said, this is the top 10 Transformers that are the best value. They give you the most bang for your buying buck. And these are probably 10 that you should really have in your collection if you are a, I guess a price-minded, price-conscious type of collector. We have two honorable mentions. They include Legacy United Gears. I think he's a little bit small for the deluxe price point, but I can't argue that there's something really charming about him, and there is a lot of like molded in detail that they didn't have to do in his chest and whatnot. As well as MP Soundwave and all of his cassettes. I thought that was MP13, but some people have been calling it MP2, so I really don't know. MP Soundwave with all of his cassettes and Legacy United Gears. Both of those were the honorable mentions. They did not make the list. You know who did, you know what did, you know what we're going to do next? That's right. We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. Kicking us off at number 10, we have Legacy Transmetal 2 Beast Wars Megatron, or Legacy Evolution Beast Wars Megatron, because his boxes sort of span both lines. This was sold as a leader class offering, and while the mass is slightly light for what it should be for a leader class offering, the value is also made up with other things, such as tons of molded in detail that makes the texturing on him seem very much like skin. Tons of fading paint, lots of it. Tons of articulation. A very high parts count. So yes, this is a case where we traded out, unfortunately, some mass, maybe a bit too much mass, but there is a ton of added value in here. And the transformation is kind of bonkers and really cool. And not for nothing, his presence and pop on the shelf speaks volumes. Is he worth having? Is he worth paying the retail price for? Absolutely. Transmetal 2 Megatron takes the number 10 slot. Coming in at number 9, we have Sideswipe. Actually, it's Siege Sideswipe. But getting any of my Siege molds, and I don't have Siege Sideswipe, but getting any of the few Siege molds I have, like Tiger Track, Deep Cover, right, is just a little bit of a pain. A pain right now where things are in disarray here as we're doing, you know, some renos and some reorganizing and stuff. This is the Earthrise version, which of course had a remolded chest, and honestly, and arguably, the knees are not quite as good as they are in the Siege Run because they don't go a full 90 degrees. Disappointing, honestly. Though I do really like this overall bot look more than the Siege, personally. That said, the Siege had the going mass for a deluxe. It has simple, but at the same time effective engineering. I do find on the Siege version, I worry about the feet cracking off. But I do have iterations of this mold using the Siege base where the feet work fine. So that might be mileage will vary. It has the mass and it has the transformation. The articulation is second to none. There's almost nothing that you can't pull off with the guy. And the paint generally is pretty robust and well applied, especially to like the kind of roof section, if you have the Netflix one with all of the battle damage on it, for example. So like, even that sort of varies a bit. But like, yeah, a very popular mold because of the articulation, because of the engineering, and because it actually meets the mass for a deluxe price. It was used some 13, 15, 16 times, I don't know. But yeah, Siege Sideswipe, very popular, and a lot of people say very well priced, and he takes the number 9 slot. Number 8 takes us back to Titan's Return and Sixshot. And Sixshot sure has his issues. For example, the kind of backwards knee because of transformation. Should have been a locking point, no doubt. And some people might say, and by the way, he does have an ankle tilt by accident or design. Does not, I don't think he has a waist. Yeah, I don't think he has a waist, which is a little bit of a bummer and a sign of the times. That said, those that voted for this guy, simply put, said you have something that does 6 modes, looks the part, can be used as one of the Titan Master, Head Mastery type of things, or you never ever got to take Revolver out of there, ever. You can just leave him in there forever if you're so inclined. And he still pulls off absolutely everything. Good articulation, 6 modes, got the look, got the heft, and clocked it all in for a nice, sweet little leader class price at the time. Yeah, Sixshot takes the number 8 slot. Coming in at number 7, we go to Legacy Evolution and Needlenose. And so I don't have his little Target Master partners in his hand because I don't use them. Recently did a review of using a couple of Siege Battle Masters that I custom painted into you know, his little lads, basically Sunbeam and Zigzag, I think it is. But he did come with them. He definitely has great mass for a deluxe. He has nicely applied paint. For example, the yellow on his face, and yellow's hard to do. All of the detailing on his wings, for example. All of this gray is all paint. So a significant amount of paint, respectable mass, and involved but not overly complicated transformation that results in a really neat plane. And honestly, the articulation is, and I've said this before, second to none. I feel like I could pretty much pull off absolutely everything that I want with this guy. He checks all the boxes, and he takes the number 7 slot. Coming in at number 6, Kingdom Cyclonus. Yeah, the mass, the paint, the engineering, no hollowness, parts count, everything. The only flaw with this guy is that he suffers from the whole yellowing thing. And that's Hasbro's fault. Nobody else's, Hasbro's fault. And they should make it right for every fan. And I don't just mean a reissue. I mean, like, replace these with ones that don't discolor. That's how you make it right. Anything else is really still kind of a slap in the face. That said, even with the discoloration, or if you have the Selects one and that was different, and assuming you avoided the really loose shoulder issue that the Selects ones had, or at least some of them had, this guy's glorious. He is the quintessential mainline Cyclonus. This is what Voyagers need to be measured against, because he ticks every single box. And now, some, 4 years later from his release, everybody still gushes over how wonderful he is. And he takes the number 6 slot. And now a hush falls over the crowd because we've reached the ever coveted, ever popular halfway mark. And at the halfway mark, we go Commander class with Armada Optimus Prime. This makes the original hunk of garbage obsolete. And I'm sorry if you actually like the original for some baffling reason. I think it is an abysmal embarrassment. And if I had worked on that and designed that, I'd be ashamed of myself. This is infinitely better. This has the heft and mass that a Commander class needs. It has the size that a Commander class needs if you put them all together. The dude still has a base. The smaller robot has all the articulation you could want except for a waist. The bigger robot has everything you could want. He looks glorious, tons of paint. Here's the thing, you know what really tells you just how good a value for your buying dollar this is? I'm not at all a Unicron Trilogy guy. Can't stand Unicron Trilogy. Heard that this was great, was like, yeah, okay, I mean, I guess, but come on, look at it, Armada Optimus. And then I got it in hand, and guess what? It's magnificent. The hype is actually real. This is magnificent. It's fun. It's functional. The only gripe at all that I have is I find the stabilizers, the two like blue stabilizers that are often like right here. I do find that they're a little bit of a nuisance to get, so I tend to forget them more often than not. But besides that one very minor little gripe, there's literally nothing here not to like. And that's why he gives you the best bang for your buck and takes the number 5 slot. Coming in at number 4, we have this guy. That's right, it's Earthrise Skylynx. Now, I own Earthrise Skylynx. I love Earthrise Skylynx. It's just right now he was a bit precarious to get down off the shelf, so it was just easier to use a picture here. And you know what? He is every bit a Commander class offering. The valuation was set by Siege Jetfire. And then when we got to Skylynx, I said, seems like there's less parts, but they're big and chunky and solid, so that's cool. Seems like there's less paint, but what paint is used well, to good effect, and applied nicely. But his mass was not twice that of a leader class, which is what was established by Siege Jetfire, right? Commander class price was about double that of a leader at the time, and we got double the mass. Double the price, double the mass. I was cool with that. But because it was less paint, less parts, and I would say even less parts count on Skylynx, they actually made him 3 times the mass of a leader class offering. So while we traded out some paint and probably some parts count, he was so much bigger, so much heftier, coming in at some 900 grams, almost 1,000 grams. He's big, he's solid, he's chunky, he's glorious. And he was worth every bit a Commander class price point. And he takes the number 4 slot. Yes, and now we are into the top 3. And at number 3 we have something from Age of the Primes with Megatronus. And when I reviewed this guy, I said, look, he is every single bit, every single ounce a leader class. Even though he does give up some required mass. He clocks in at 293 grams. Bit small, pardon me, a bit small when compared to the requisite 315 to 325 that Hasbro themselves set. That said, this is also a case where there's a lot of value that makes up for that lost mass, including, but not limited to, the parts count and the engineering, as well as the very wide range of articulation. The application of paint, especially the multitude of places that use yellow paint, and yellow's so hard to get coverage with, so they obviously had to do multiple coats. Not one, not two. This is definitely all kind of filled in, colored in completely. And the most telling thing, word is, if you believe Evan, that this is going to be a single-use mold, meaning it's for Megatronus and only going to be used for Megatronus. A single-use mold, close to necessary mass, along with paint, parts count, articulation, accessories, all of it makes this guy an absolute gem. And all for a leader class price, and he takes the number 3 slot. Coming in at number 2, we stick with Commander class, and Studio Series 86 and Optimus Prime. And again, if you don't think he's Commander Class, then you haven't done the math. Tons of paint, both with the trailer and with this guy. The mass falls where it should for a leader class at 600 and some odd grams. The articulation is there, the transformation is there. Every panel even feels like robust plastic. All of the accessories that you could be looking for and possibly want with an Optimus. I even think a perfect head sculpt, though some people have replaced that one. Excellent articulation, and we even hide away the tires in his legs. Like, brilliant. By the way, this is not the ion cannon that comes with them. This is the one from the Centurion pack. Actually, this is a cast of that, a resin cast of that. Shout out to Dragonfly for that. And it's been painted black, of course. But I feel like it matches him better than his. And I feel like his matches the Earthrise better. Go figure. But yes, to my shock and awe, I did not believe for a second that this guy was actually going to be worth a Commander Class value. But he has tons of paint, wild articulation, a smooth, robust transformation, and all the mass that a Commander Class needs. That's every single box checked. And he takes the number 2 slot. And now here we are at the very tippy top. Number 1. And number 1 sticks with Commander Class and Siege Jetfire. And this was the guy that established, so like here's the way. Little lesson now. Value is not like in the eye of the beholder. It's a mathematical equation. Hasbro came up with a dollar amount that they were willing to invest. They also came up with a dollar amount that they were going to suggest as the manufacturer's suggested retail price. By the way, retailers don't have to sell it for that. They can sell it for more or less. It's just that's what's suggested from the manufacturer. This was the first Commander Class offering. Here in Canada, it was double the price of a leader class. They gave us literally double the mass of a leader class. From 315, 325, that area, to 650. So cool. You charged me double, you gave me double. You also gave me tons of parts and a high parts count. You also gave me loads of paint. You also gave me cool gimmicks like the little flaps here that are spring-loaded, for example. You gave me excellent articulation. And if I didn't say it already, you gave me tons of paint. All the paint you could want, all the articulation you could want. A really clever, fun, enjoyable color transformation scheme with a bunch of moving parts. So a high parts count and the mass that the price point demands. Everything's here. And that's why Siege Jetfire, according to fans, takes the number 1 slot for best bang for your buying buck. And that is 10 down to 1. Once again, let's go through some others that had votes. They include 86 Hot Rod. I mean, I don't know if that was a joke vote, but it's not. It's just not. I've talked about that. The math doesn't line up. Earthrise Optimus Prime, which I find interesting because a lot of people said it wasn't worth that. Siege Omega, Siege Guardian. Or I guess it was Select's Guardian. Earthrise Snapdragon, G-Axis, Straxus. What else do we have here? Cybertron Downshift, going back quite a few years now. Animated Samurai Prowl, going back a few years again. Legacy United Quake. Solus Prime, Generations Metroplex for, again, the retail price, right? I mean, it's hard to argue. Here in Canada it was $134.50 at Toys R Us. At Costco was $89.99, and that's Canadian. What else do we have here? Trigger Happy, Combiner Wars Devastator, Legacy Motor Master, Titans Return Fort Max, the first run, the original run, not the reissue. Classics Ultra Magnus, Classics Optimus Prime, both tremendous Voyagers. T-30 Springer, the G.I. Joe Cup crossover. Man, I'd like that Sergeant Slaughter, though. Rotor Storm, Legacy Armada Megatron, MP Wheeljack, Wei Jiang's MO1 Commander. What else do we have here? What's another few we got here? Trypticon, Magmatron, being the Legacy United Magmatron, the Titans Return Trypticon, or I guess the Age of the Prime Trypticon. Party Wallop, Siege Red Alert, Age of the Primes Red Alert, Legacy Tarantulas, Studio Series 44 Optimus Prime, the Titan class Tidal Wave, Legacy Unite Silverbolt, Revenge of the Fallen Leader class Starscream, and just for fun selects Black Zarek. Those and more. Did your favorites make the list? The honorable mentions, the mentions at the end. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you are at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.